Well, let me just say thank you to our chairman, Altmaier, for holding this hearing and working with us on an issue that's very important to our small businesses around the United States. And Chairwoman Nord, I appreciate your comments today, and I appreciate the awareness that you have of the situations facing so many of our businesses throughout our nation and the challenges that this Congress has given you with the law itself and some of your recommendations that you've made to try to resolve this issue. And hopefully within this panel and this group and our legislative body will be able to draft some legislation, that's my hope, Mr. Chairman, that will be able to address these issues. We have called this hearing, of course, to examine the Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act on small business, and it is a very important issue for all of our manufacturers, distributors, and sellers of goods aimed at children under the age of 12. The federal law and regulations adopted last year were meant to ensure that our children were safe from toys that they play with and clothes that they wear. However, there are unintended consequences of this well-meaning legislation that do severely impact many of our small businesses that produce children's products not only overseas in factories but also right here in the United States. And I'd like to extend a personal thank you to all of our witnesses that have joined us here today for our subcommittee and to welcome you, and we look forward to hearing all your testimony and your personal experience with how this law has affected your small business and manufacturing, and especially give a welcome to David McCubbin, who is from my home state, my hometown, a longtime personal friend of mine, and he is the owner and operator of McCubbin Hosiery in Oklahoma City. In 2007, toy manufacturers had to recall over 1 million toys that violated standards concerning lead-based paint. The toys recalled included well-known children's products associated with things like Thomas the Tank Engine, Barbie doll, Dora the Explorer, and obviously parents were rightfully outraged about the danger to their children and prompted Congress to pass the Consumer Product Safety Act in 2008. Most of the lead in these cited toys came from overseas toy manufacturers, and though the law harshly affects many of the American businesses that also produce toys, the CPSIA prohibits the sale or distribution of a product for children under the age of 12 if it contains more than 600 parts per million, as we've talked about, of lead in February of 2009, and of course that will drop to 300 parts August 14th. And to ensure this compliance, the Act requires the manufacturers to certify their products meet these standards through independent lab testing. Given the many concerns of small businesses across the country and their ability to meet these strict requirements in a short time frame, the Commission did ease the enforcement of the regulations for 1 year, but it ended February 10th. It will end February 10th, 2010. This stay, as you mentioned, is intended to ease some of the problems facing our small businesses, but it is by no means a cure-all. We do need a resolution to this. And though the Consumer Product Safety Commission may not take punitive action against anyone selling the product with more than 600 parts of lead, others may choose to enforce the law, as you also stated. So there's still liability to many of our manufacturers and small businesses. An example of that is that a state attorney general may take legal action if they find a business has produced, distributed, or sold a product for a child that exceeds the lead limit. So small businesses and owners are thus forced to incur large costs of testing their products or risk punishment in the future if their products do not conform to these standards. And that has been exacerbated for small business retailers who are, unlike manufacturers, are not yet required to certify lead content of products. So the retailers who do not test for lead are still subject to these restrictions on selling a product containing lead, even though they lack the ability and resources to determine if their products contain it. So the cost of testing is going to be upwards of tens of thousands of dollars for small retailers, and just to make sure that only a few of their products don't fall below the minimum requirements. And, of course, at a time when our economy is suffering and a recession is here and people are watching their bottom line, trying to make a profit, keep their employees employed, this is certainly not good news for small businesses. So I think it is very imperative that we look at federal law changes to ensure that we do have a healthy environment for our children and their products and their toys, but also to have a regulatory structure that can coexist and does not have unduly burdensome regulations limitations upon our small businesses and especially our manufacturers. So look forward today to having our witnesses and their testimony and hearing their recommendations, Mr. Chairman, that they have. Thank you so much once again. Look forward to working with you on legislation, and I'll yield back my time.
Later on, I'm going to get to